as educators at that time, James actually mentioned, discussed with our whole team many times. We are interested in explorer as academia, as educator, how generative AI change our industry, that is the educational sectors. So that's the main idea why we launched that book. And then because it's really new, is we actually we are so lucky to have different contributor from different part of the world to share the frontline observation experience. And then together we actually that book actually is really um 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 insightful sharing because we got that actually collected by the Stanford University Library, and then it actually demonstrate our combined effect, the effort, how we actually contribute to that in terms of the knowledge generation about the application of generative AI. Yes, I reckon that's my summary.
Thank you. And exactly correct. If I can just add, we should start at the bottom here because indeed the first textbook that we created, which we are now launching, on facilitating global collaboration and knowledge sharing in higher education, was in vogue at its time. So let me just be very clear that time moves forward very quickly. And what has happened, I can clearly say, is that we have seen a very dramatic shift. And at the time that we were considering this first iteration, there wasn't much going on. There was not much in terms of AI in generative AI being used in higher education. In fact, this is something very was quite new. Now, by the time the book came to publication, we were seeing momentum building up. And not only do we see momentum building up, but and it's important, I think, Sam, you were being quite modest there. We were picked up not only by Stanford University, but we were picked up by 64 global universities, and I think 65 plus now, not only Stanford, but a number of, MIT and a number of high profile institutions, Mannheim in Germany and so on. So this book, of course, is quite dated as we speak. And this is the theme I think we need to also consider because the nature of our topics at the time, as you can see here, I think you can see what I'm looking at. Let me try that again. Is the nature of the speed of change is what we need to also just consider, right? And what we're trying to do is stay ahead of the curve. Now, I will, on that note, jump to how are we staying ahead of the curve? And by staying ahead of the curve, I'm referring to trying to make sure that we are doing things that are very different. And this is where now we look at our other textbook that is coming out, which is looking at quantum computing, but particularly a focus on enhancing robotics with quantum computing, blockchain, agentic AI, and trying to see how exactly we can tackle this industry. So I think this is very important to just understand the nuance in terms of how time has progressed and where we are. By the time books come out to into publication, we we're no longer as relevant. I think Jay, you would concur with that. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been in the same position where in 20 we had just finished a book on AI. It's called The World Remade by AI in 2024, and then it got published in 2025. And the
Yes.
biggest you know when we read it, Dr. Shalini and I, who co-edited it, we said, how could we not have a chapter here? How could we have missed a chapter on AI agents? And it was because in 2024, AI agents was it was in its infancy and didn't have too many exposed scholarship on it. So we had to come out with a new book, and so we can sympathize with the sequence and the speed that you're talking about. Definitely, James and Sam. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is why our call for chapters, as you can see from the screen that I'm sharing now, is looking at what is coming ahead. And the belief in where we are on this is that it is not only agentic now, but it is quantum computing and it is robotics. So there is a very interesting call here that I believe everybody should or may want to consider. And if so, you may get in touch with us, and we will certainly put you forward in terms of consideration. Now, I think one of the things we did want to do was give the opportunity for some of our authors to maybe highlight very briefly, 1 or 2 minutes, on what their particular work is all about, and maybe answering some pointed questions as opposed to giving them the full reign. Otherwise, we're all academics, and the problem with academics is that we know no bounds. So, Sam, is there anybody we can start with, or I'm happy to pull up the chapters?
I think we have Daniel, Dr. Daniel Tan is here who wrote, a chapter for you.
Okay. Daniel, which book, which chapter?
Which, so, Daniel, are you?
He can unmute himself.
Oh, yeah. Chapter 7.
Chapter 7, which particular? Is this on the, we have, you cannot.
Oh, you need to allow Daniel to unmute, I guess.
Let me try and make sure I can do that. Hold on a second. Thought we were all unmuted.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it's kind of late where I am, so please pardon me that I'm in my sleepwear, so I will not turn on the camera. Yeah. So thank you so much for having me. But my chapter is not in this book. It's in the later one.
Which, the later one?
Yeah.
Sorry, the earlier one. Which one of the three? Future.
No. Let me see. Where did I save it?
Future of AI sectors. Chapter 7. I can fish around a little bit.
Mine is the impact and integration of AI.
Impact and integration.
Yeah.
So it should be, where are we?
And while you're scrolling through, let me just tell,
Sure.
I want to introduce Daniel Tan. He's now Dr. Daniel Tan. When he wrote the chapter, he was one of our doctoral scholars at Golden Gate University's DBA program. And now, beginning of the year, Daniel already finished his doctorate. And he's been a regular contributor to the scholarship, doctoral scholarship and everything in the intersection of AI. Where I am most, impressed with Daniel is, of course, his commitment to help others, particularly the senior and the aging population in terms of their, social security and care. So, Daniel, I guess this is your chapter.
Sure.
Yes.
Correct.
Ahead.
So I'll just take a minute because I want to give the opportunity to everyone, right? And it's like almost it's 10:30 p.m. now, so I'm at the end of my battery. So I wrote chapter 7. I think this should be about a year ago. So there, at that point in time, there was not much AI use in financial planning yet. Yeah. So just a quick context that I have been a financial planner, and I still am in Singapore for coming to 30 years. So it's practically been my whole life. So I've seen it evolve from the days of pen and paper and harassing people on the street till today where it's so regulated and it's licensed and it's very professional now. Yeah. So I think the greatest change for financial planning in the part, I would say, has come in the last 2 decades in Singapore, where the government decided to make the profession really professional, if for the lack of a better word. So uh, everything moved to digital. And then, of course, with digital, it comes with all the good stuff and also the risks, which I am talking about in this chapter. Things like phishing and ransomware and data breaches, and they are still happening today, right? So right now, like myself, when I want to access my client data and all that, I have to go jump through hoops, and it's a little bit of the pain, but I think it's all for the good of the clients and for the industry as well. Yeah. So, but right now, I think it's so interesting that we are seeing AI being implemented on a larger scale now in the industry. It came a little too late for me to include in this chapter. But personally, for myself now, every day I get a in my software, I see a AI report where it tells me, Daniel, these are the clients that you should say hello to. They are likely to want to talk to you about this and that. And the AI actually looks at what this client has been doing online, what this client has been, what are the inquiries that this person has been making through the company, and they gather the data from there, the plans that they have, plans that they bought in the past, and put together a very simple report to give me some suggestions like, hey, go talk to this client about this. Uh, so that's why I see it being used now. Yeah. So okay, I've taken too much time. Back to you. Thank you for the opportunity.
No, thank you very much. No, you've not taken up too much time. It's very important. I think you've indeed focused on the core issue and where you see this heading. Thank you very much. I can move on to just indicate that this chapter is available in this particular textbook, and the details will be made available. Shall we move on? Is there anybody else here, Sam, Jay, who we can point out?
I think I could. Did Chipeng? Did you, Leon, also contribute a chapter, Chipeng? I think.
I hope Professor J. I'm here. But I have not write anything about the chapter. I
Okay.
want to listen the author as another authors who write the articles in this journal.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Another author? We might fall back to the editors, of course.
Yeah.
who have
So Chi Peng actually, turned in a piece for our latest book for consideration. So we also have future authors here, in the room with us. So thank you so much for also joining us. It's so encouraging to see you, see some of the future people also thinking of, scholarship and joining the scholarly community in this area. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, I think we can move on. Any other?
Yes.
I think do we have Sam? I don't know if you mentioned the attendance of one of the other co-editors and some of the other textbooks. Sam, you can hear us? I know it's very late in China, but you have to unmute yourself. I think he's up. Yep, Sam, we can hear you now.
Yep. Okay.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
James, I think you unmute the wrong person. You unmuted me, not Sam.
Sam is available.
Can you hear me again?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. Okay, so for today's actually we got some Chinese college. They also want to join us, but unfortunately because of that the online setting they can't make it this time. And then the feedback I got actually they're interested in joining our research publication and different things. So for that the other I wanna actually mention add a little bit regarding to our call for chapters that can I get that to so for our upcoming project that right now we already launched that call for publications call for chapters and the
Correct.
the James, can you turn to that our poster that
Yes, give me one. I can pull that up.
yeah, okay. So for our coming publication that enhancing robotics with the quantum computing and then so this issue we really want to actually have more practical um 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 uh, ex- can you hear me? Testing.
Perfectly. Perfectly. We can hear you. Not anymore.
Okay, sorry.
Now,
A
yes.
mistake in the okay. Okay, for the call for chapters that the book we already got different inquiry how we actually because for this for this book we aim to actually achieve that Scopus and Web of Science index. So this time we really look for a practical frontline example which actually can help us build the, the profile of the book. And right now we got some what I recently got that inquiry from the Chinese community regarding that the application of that robot and then the AI in particular in that smart cities and that the application and observation from the Chinese perspective. And we encourage for those who can join us today's through our book launch, we encourage to actually invite different scholars to together to actually participate in these publications and because our track record and then the publisher actually fully supports us in terms of uh, um, promoting us and also the books and then and and even for that, well, one thing I need to actually mention here is we also encourage scholar to join us as our reviewer, because for participating in our project, actually, if we get the reconciliation from the publisher as well, because we are building the research community. So if you or your college actually in that AI or robot or quantum computing, that specific areas, is join us and share that research spirits, because we together, we trust, we this time we can actually create some much more impactful in terms of knowledge contribution. Because the idea, we actually the reason why this book with the robot, with the quantum computing, and also the AI actually is really in leading positions.
Yes.
Can you hear? Yeah, that's the things I really want to actually highlight, because right now we try to actually create really diversify that, in terms of we want to have different voice from different part of the world in terms of the practical application of the topic. So, and yes, I think that's the things I really want to mention it here.
Thank you so much, Sam. If I can just add to that, for those of you who may not be aware, Scopus is a commercial database of academic journals, and it is the largest database of academic journals with more than 100 million records. And institutions, organizations look to peer-reviewed journals in terms of ensuring that they are on top of the research. So to be indexed with Scopus is key, and we have the track record. And I want to reiterate, one of the reasons we were able to get into Scopus and the U.S. Library of Congress is because we had the foresight at the time. And this is the foresight we're looking at now, at this point, in order to ensure that this next publication is going to be super relevant very soon. And we need to try and make sure that, you know, we're up on top of it. We do have another author who has managed to come here, and this author is in Italy, Diletta Serasuolo. Diletta, I think you can unmute yourself, and maybe you can tell us something about the chapter, maybe in 1 minute. This is your time limit. I think it's chapter, is it 4? Is that correct? A strategic analysis of AI-driven transformation in the commercial food sector. Maybe you can tell us just very, very briefly, what is the concept, and where do you see this affecting industry, or how do you see this going forward? Can you unmute? Diletta, can you hear us? Can you unmute?
Okay, I couldn't unmute myself.
Perfect. I mean, now good.
Okay, so I wrote this chapter as part of my master's thesis in Origin, and it's basically an overview of how AI can impact the food industry, especially the commercial food industry. Because when you say food industry, there would also be agri-tech and food chemistry. So I just looked at the commercial food sector, so the supply chain and how things are processed, and then packaging and shelf life and so forth. So it was an overview. I looked at the positive employment of AI within the commercial food sector. I also looked at the areas where we could still do a lot of things. For example, there was a a section dedicated to increasing shelf life and maybe give a second life to those items that are expiring soon. And then Papa, stop it. Sorry, because I'm with people. And I was also, give me 1 second. Sorry, because there's a lot of noise. Okay, apologies. So I was saying I looked at the implications of AI in the food industry, and then I also dedicated 2 chapters to all the areas where we should do more research, and I also dedicated a section to the limitations of AI. These were not very specific to the food sector. It was mostly, cybersecurity and who's behind the algorithms, how the data collected is being utilized. So it was quite generic. There's nothing highly specific to the sector yet. It was, yes, mostly how algorithms work. And I also dedicated a small portion to the algorithm life cycle, in the sense that to what extent can the algorithm be so powerful? So yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Diletta. So that particular chapter is also in the AI in practice, driving innovation across sectors, and that again is in particular the food sector. Thank you so much. Now, I think Jay or Sam, we need to talk about what we have also contributed here. I think that might be relevant at this juncture. So I'll go ahead and take the bait, and I believe my section is somewhere here. What I explored now, with a little bit of background just for context, I do teach and have been teaching applied blockchain technology for the last 6 or 7 years at Bremen University, European Business University, various universities. Let's just leave it at that. And one of my focus areas is how we can apply blockchain. And the application of blockchain, we have not only the conceptual aspect, but the case study aspect. So this chapter focuses specifically on that. The problem it identifies here as the core concept is corruption. And this is where I quote Charles Hoskinson. He's a founder of the Cardano Foundation. I have to give proper citation. He did say that it's from do no evil to can't do evil, because I think the point here is that evil is innate, perhaps. So the whole idea of a public trust and accountability and institutional integrity is what this chapter is about. I look at various countries and see how far they have gone in implementing, and there's a host of countries of which I've illustrated case studies, from procurement processes to contractual engagements to various sectors in industry and governance, where we show in numerous countries in South America, in Europe, and in the Eastern Europe as well, or I should say Central Europe, where we see this actually in practice. So my take then is, how can this be applied to my native country, which is Kenya? And I look at this as an approach to curing the challenges that Kenya has. And in this respect, it's not just a case study examination, but a point-by-point approach as to how governance can implement blockchain technology as seen in other countries. So beginning, of course, with education and transformation and case studies and piloting and so on and so forth. So this is the nature of the chapter. And it basically looks again at the very big challenge that not only Kenya has, but Kenya can thereby be used as a further case study for other regions, not only in Africa, but beyond. So this is the chapter that I have contributed, and I'm hoping that an eye will be thrown in this direction for the sole purpose of implementation by the Kenyan authorities. Okay, Sam, I think we can go to something you have perhaps. I know you've done quite a bit of work as well. I think you're muted again. You have to unmute yourself. Sam, you have to unmute yourself. You're still muted.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Perfect.
Okay. Please go to that. I reckon it's this book, the chapter, no, the previous one, yes, this one.
Okay.
Go to chapter, let me have a look at the chapter, the AI-driven financial, it's
Chapter 6.
after your one, chapter 6, please. The same book, chapter 6.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Okay. For this one, the AI-driven financial technology. So it's about how with the AI application in terms of the fintech. So this time we try to look at that is the case study. We try to look at the EU and China in terms of the application of the AI-driven fintech. So we try to actually look at from the regulator perspective, the regulatory challenges and opportunities, because from the practitioner perspective, AI-driven fintech actually help the industry achieve the cost saving, because it's that the financial sector actually is really competitive this time in particular in China. So even the industry sector, they try to launch different things, and then in particular with the AI. But from the regulator perspective, because they try to actually protect the investor or different stakeholders' interests, how would they this time to actually regulating the emerging tech? So I mean, that is already complicated, but this time we have the AI-driven fintech. So that's the
Mm.
story behind we try to actually look at. And then so for this chapter we basically use based on the existing literature, we use that the size-based analysis. By the method is by using the size-based analysis, we try to actually download the Chinese literature and also the English literature, and then we try to actually compare from the researcher perspective, those use Chinese character, Chinese to publish a journal, and those use the English to publish journals at the time when they look at the issue. Is there any similarity and differences? And we try to actually find out based on the pattern analysis. So that is the chapters. And then the reason why we use that size base, because it's really hard to quantify the impact, because even the application of the AI-driven fintech, the focus would be different. Some in marketing, maybe in finance, maybe in legal perspective. So that's the idea for that purpose.
Mhm. Excellent. Are there any other authors who are interested in? Can you hear me? Yes. Are there any other authors who are interested in vocalizing their contribution? If not, we can move on. Sam, I assume that there are no other authors. Is that correct? I assume that there are no other authors, Sam. Is that correct? Jay? Okay, in that case, if this is in that case, if there are no other authors, then we can just quickly call out some other information. And a question was raised, thank you very much, as to the deadlines for the call for chapters for the upcoming textbook. And I believe we have highlighted a August 3rd date for the submission of a proposal. Is this finalized with the publishers? Sam, can you confirm that? We've highlighted a August 3rd submission date and the full chapter due date by October 26th and a submission date thereafter. Well, the submission date being the same thing, the full chapter due and the submission. Is this something we finalized, Sam? Could we? Yes, okay, thank you. So the deadline can be extended, but we of course go on the basis of quality. So the deadline can be extended in the event that the work that we're seeing is not qualitative. And on that basis, there's also the need for diversification. Publishers have a very strict rule that the submissions must come from various geographical regions and contributions in that respect. I think, Jay, is there anything else you'd like to add on this point before we move on? I know it's very early for you, Jay, in San Francisco. It's very late for Sam in it's very late for Sam in China, and very early for you, Jay, in San Francisco. Anything you would like to add, Jay? I think you can unmute yourself. There's the unmute option is yours. Samira, are we all unmuted? We should all be unmuted. Samira? Let me just make sure. No, you should be able to unmute yourself, Jay.
Yes, thank you so much, James.
No problem.
Yeah, we just want to encourage people because as as ideas evolve, particularly in this area that we're trying to do, the intersections of physical AI and generative AI under what's called physical AI, where we have robotics too and blockchain. This is also a rapidly evolving subsection in the study of the larger AI studies, and so we encourage contribution, particularly concept pieces. Also valuable, we find them as valuable pieces. These are snapshots of what are evolving in current thinking, and particularly in your industry or domain. That's very big to us. There are a lot of you here in the room who are in various parts of the world. You don't have to be associated with a research institute. We all know that this phenomenon that we're looking right now is really the production of intelligence. And when you're producing intelligence, it doesn't have to be captured in a physical laboratory in a campus, right? It could be evolving and experimenting, and you may be pilot testing it right in your own little AI factory, in your own little offices, right? So to document that is important to us in our publication. I just wanted to underscore what James, pointed out, is that we want at IGI, we're being measured. We're being measured by the diversity of the publication. And so certain geographic regions in the world, particularly in South Asia, where it's really teeming and booming, we are oversubscribed in terms of publications. We really want to push for a diversification outside, of India and the South Asia region, right now, right? So, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there, James. Thank you for inviting me to get involved in this wonderful project.
Well, thank you also, Sam, and Jay. Thank you for both being here. Let me also just end this on a final note, because Sam, you said that I initiated everything, and I keep thinking you initiated everything. How wonderful is that? Sam keeps
Operator, we after the discussion, you inspired me to to initiate this. Put it that way.
which is very good. We both inspired each other.
Okay.
So there was a very good energy, very good synergy, because you always keep saying that I initiated. I keep saying no, you initiated. So it's a very good thing. We've captivated a very large audience in terms of readership, and this particular textbook, I believe, will go beyond, because it is timely, and if anything, it's all about having that non-linear vision. It's not linear, and if we can really take advantage of what we see here, I believe, in my view, we will not only garner the same accolades, in other words, not only Scopus and the U.S. Library of Congress, but a wider readership. So we do invite everybody to take part. Last but not least, allow me to quickly indicate that the European Business University is also offering certificate scholarships in the topics in question. So there are courses that we have in AI for quantum and AI for business leaders and managers, quantum and AI for leaders and managers in finance, healthcare, manufacturing. These are courses that are ongoing. And we also, of course, do have the course that I deliver, which is applied blockchain technology with AI and quantum integration. And the master's degree programs, we're offering 2 scholarships, partial scholarships, to those who are also eligible and apply in advance. It's a first come, first served basis. So unless there's anything else, Sam, I think we can conclude. Is that correct? And we're within our time.
All good.
Okay, I'll take that as a yes. Jay,
Yep.
I think we can also conclude. It's early morning for you. It's late for Sam. I'm in the middle of the day.
I'm actually in the same time zone as Sam, so
Okay. So
yeah.
you're
Yeah, he's in
No worries.
Beijing, I reckon.
Yeah. So I think one thing that we forgot is, of course,
Yes.
we want to promote the Journal of International DBA
Yes.
Studies.
Yes.
It continues to capture the phenomenon that we are in right now with really leading edge articles. So we'd like to invite people. I mean, James, Sam, and I are, avid supporters of JIDS. So, this is another outlet that's out there for everybody.
Yeah, let me just highlight the journal, because this is something of great importance, and this can be found indeed on this link and on our webpage. So if you go to the Journal for International DBA Studies, I believe this might be the notes, not the link. It's on our other link, correct? It's on one of these links, but anybody can clearly access it and inquire. Okay, so we do encourage those who are academics who are interested. We have a very well-established journal and in partnership not only with Bremen University, but as indicated here, also with the Golden Gate University. Okay, I think we'll leave it at that.
Thanks for organizing, James.
Thank you very much. Oh, thank you also, Dr. Sumitra.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sumitra, for coming. Dr. Sumitra is one of the persons who's always encouraging, publications with JIDs and all of our all of the books that you've just shown. So thank you,
Right.
Dr. Sumitra.
I think I'd also want a special mention. We have representatives from the Management University of Africa. Is that correct, Victor? Am I correct in that? I believe that is maybe correct. So we have some representatives here that are far and wide. Victor, is that correct? Are you from the Management University? Well, we don't have to hold anybody up anymore. Thank you all. Have a good evening.